Okay, welcome to this short tutorial on Node.js. Today I'm going to show you how you can set up a Node.js application with a MySQL database. Now this tutorial is going to assume that you do have the softwares installed, both Node.js and MySQL. If you do not have the softwares installed, you can head over to the Node.js website to install the latest version of Node.js. And for MySQL, you're going to need the community server. To get that, you can head over to MySQL's website. Clicking on the downloads link will take you to this page here. Then you want to scroll down and click on the MySQL community GPL link. And from here, you can click on the MySQL community server link. From this page, you can download the MySQL community server that pertains to your operating system. You can select from the options in this drop-down menu. Once we have the MySQL server installed, we can go ahead and connect to the server. I'm going to use VS Code's integrated terminal. To connect to the server, I can run the following command. If you set up a password during the installation process, this is going to be the time where you want to enter the password in at. If I hit enter, I'm now connected to the MySQL community server. Now that we're connected to the server, let's go ahead and check it out. I'm going to run the show database command. These are all the currently databases that I have. Now let's go ahead and create a database. Here is our notes database. Alright, awesome. So the next thing we want to do is create a user for that database. Okay, so now our notes user with an S has the password of notes123. So the next thing we want to do is grant the notes user privileges to access the notes database. Okay, so now our notes user has privileges to access our database notes. Alright, awesome. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and set up the application. Alright, so to begin setting up the application, we need to run a npm init. I ran the npm init-y to accept all the defaults. I now have a package.json file that I can use to install other packages that I'll need for the application. Let's go ahead and install two other packages that we're going to need for this application. The packages are the .env package and the MySQL2 package. We can install both packages with the npm install command. So we have our .env package and our MySQL2 package installed. The next thing we need to do is create a few files. We're going to create a .env file to store our database connection variables and an index.js file to work with the application. Okay, so let's go over to our .env file. Here we're going to set up our environment variables for our database user. Now that we have our environment variables set up, let's go ahead and set up the application. Go over to the index.js file. The first thing we need to do is require the .env package. The next thing we want to do is require our MySQL2 driver. Alright, now from here we can go ahead and create our database connection, which takes a object which we'll use our environment variables for. Okay, let's go ahead and test our connection. Okay, so the query that I'm going to run is going to create a table called notes, and small typo right here. I'm going to create 3 table properties: an ID, an author, and a note. The ID is going to be not null, auto increment. The author is going to be a bar chart of a length of 128 characters, not null as well. The note is going to be text type, not null, and the primary key is going to be the ID. So let's go ahead and run our index.js file. And as you can see, we do not get any errors. If we modify it just slightly, all right, and there we have it. Okay, so we're getting a response back from the database. Let's go ahead and create a note. I'm going to scroll up to the top and create an object to represent the note. Next, I want to come down here within this callback function. I'll go ahead and test my second or run my second query. Okay, so here is our query to create the note. Now, after we run this query, we want to run another one to verify that the note was inserted. We can run a select query for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this file. And we do get an error. And it's because we have notes with an S instead of note. So let's go ahead and try to run that again. And as you can see right here, here is our data that we just created.